Hello, it's Jill Broadbent from the SCT design team, and I am so excited to be sharing a project that I created today using the collection from Doodlebug called the Hello Again collection. Now, I loved being able to take a lot of the components of this collection and turn it into a mini album. They have such beautiful papers and stickers and embellishments, lots of different details that really match and work together perfectly in this collection. And I'm showing you just a few of those pieces here. So as you can see, there are so many fun embellishments. I went ahead and put them all into a little bowl so that I could shop through them as I made the album, and I loved the variety. There's lots of pieces with gold metallic foil, which makes them so beautiful. And then there's lots of different pieces from titles to tags to icons and little scattering elements. I also loved the doodle pops. They make my sticker collecting heart happy and just remind me of my childhood, and I think they are such a fun, elevated take on those cute stickers. And then, of course, there's lots of other embellishments, including a lot of enamel dots and flowers and some nice little sprinkles as well. So what I loved most about creating this project was taking the card collection. They are blank cards and envelopes, and they come in lots of different sizes and shapes, and that made for a really eclectic mini album. And so by taking these different components, I was able to make a really unique album, and it kind of came together easily because the pieces were already designed that made the pages. So you can see here, I'm going to show you a few different ways that I approached the pages, individual pages in this mini album. The first one is taking a simple white card base and attaching or adhering it on the open ends and the bottom. So that makes a top opening pocket. So then I went ahead and I just took a circle punch to make a little notch in the top. And from doing that, then I'm just going to decorate it. So now the page itself becomes a pocket. And so then I took some pattern paper, and I will tell you with this collection, there is not a bad sheet in the bunch. It was hard to even decide on this one page if I wanted to use the heart side or the stripe side. So lots and lots of different options when it comes to the decoration of this. I just thought those stripes really spoke to me, and it was such a bold, beautiful pattern. So I went with that on the front of this card. So again, just took my circle punch, notched that out, and now my page is ready to decorate. So again, this is a mini album, and I wanted to keep the focus on some photos and some stories. And so I went ahead and matted my photo. It's a 3x4 photo, and I left it with some extra space at the bottom, which kind of makes it look like a Polaroid. And then I just wanted to add a little title at the bottom. So I'm going through that bowl of embellishments that I have. The I love you was perfect, except the pinks matched at the bottom, which actually would be a really fun way to make that blend, but I kind of wanted a little pop and contrast. And so I found one that said The Good Life in that cute turquoise color. And so I'm adding that to the bottom of my photo, and I liked that extra contrast down there. And then I'm adding some 3D foam strips to add a little dimension to that piece. Now, when I'm making a mini album, and there's lots of different ways to approach this, but I like to keep the dimension minimal. I feel like, especially because all those pages are going in together, it's nice to have a little bit of detail and a little bit of dimension, but I try to keep it kind of minimal. And so a little foam tape here and there, or some dimensional stickers and things like that, are about as far as I like to go. But obviously there's no right or wrong to that, just kind of my approach with these. And so now I pulled in the 12x12 sticker sheet, and it has so many great icons. And I loved this piece right here. It says My Happy Place, which was perfect, and it kind of became a one and done element on this page. I did go through with some of those embellishments, and you can see here I'm adding those gold puffy hearts. They're so cute. And again, adding just a little dimension, which I really like. And I'm just scattering them around the sticker. So it's just adding a little bit of detail. So I add 2 little puffy hearts, and then I come into the epoxy little flowers and find one that works perfectly just to add into that empty space next to the mug on top of the books. Again, just fun little details to dress up that sticker, even though it's perfectly great as is. I just loved all these embellishments. So another detail that you need to keep in mind is the space you'll need for punching the holes in the side to bind the book. And so this page, I didn't go through and show that, but you'll want to make sure that you're allowing for space or punching those holes kind of at the beginning to be able to balance everything and make sure you're not overlapping the space that needs the holes. So then here you can see I've got some journaling cards, and those are from a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. And so you saw the back side is polka dot, and I just am simply sliding those into the pocket along with a few other pieces. This is just cute pattern paper. I'm going to add more photos. I think when you're making a mini album, there's no right or wrong, again, to how you tell the story and add the details. And so I've added a photo on the front, a sticker on the back, and then I'm adding more photos slid into that pocket. And I think whatever you have to work with and all the different ways that you want the interactivity of this album to work is great. So I've got those pieces and I'm just adding them to that page along with a few of the pre-die cut tags. Again, that's adding a little bit of gold shimmer, some detail there, and that page is ready to go in the album. So that's one concept that you can duplicate over and over with different pattern papers or with different details. You can make them look different, but that top opening pocket is a great way to make an interactive page within a mini album. So here you can see I'm just adding some ribbon to those tags. Again, I love being able to add some texture and some detail, and I'm using just 2 ribbons that I had in my stash to add to all the tags through the book. That's going to give me that texture, but also keep that, that feel cohesive. And I think I use a little bit of baker's twine as well. So between the 3 different textures, I just duplicate them over and over, which ties the book together. And instead of tying a knot, I used a mini staple in gold. And that again keeps from having too much dimension with the staple keeping it flat. So, all right, the next page concept, and again, this is one you can do over and over, is adding detail to an envelope. So the first one was a card base. This one is an envelope, and I'm just tucking in the flap for the envelope. And so then I have a side opening pocket. I loved that this collection has even a metallic gold envelope. I think it just is such a beautiful touch and helps tie in all the little gold details in the collection. I went back to that sticker sheet and there was this really cute scalloped pink circle with little gold foiled dots. And so I added that along the side of the envelope. Either punch your holes at the very beginning or make sure you're allotting for that about 1/4 inch space that you'll need to be able to put the holes in to bind the album. So from here, I'm going to decorate the outside smooth side of the envelope where you would normally put your address. We are going to add this really fun title that says Everyday Life. Again, that's from the die cut pieces. I did look at a few other things and tried a few different things. There are so many options. Again, no right or wrong. There were just so many different pieces that would totally work. And I chose to do this kind of colorful, fun pop of a title. So I'm just going to attach that title right to the front of the envelope. And then on the back side, which is going to be when you turn the page, then I'm going to work on the pieces that I want to fill the envelope. And again, this is another concept you can duplicate. I just used the card base itself, a plain white card base, and I'm going to make that almost like a mini album. So here you can see I have a finished one ready to show. You can see all the ways I embellished it, but also it was a great way to add 4 different photos to one page of this mini album. So it feels like a mini album within the mini album because you've got that pull out page interactive card that is going to open and have multiple photos. You can see I just finished it off with some of those stickers and embellishments. I loved that there were tabs included as well because I was able to put that in there, and it makes it really easy to just pull out that entire card piece and look at it all on its own. It's like its own piece to enjoy as you flip through the album. So using card bases as an interactive page that pulls out of the envelope is another way to approach this mini album. So let's look at a third way. And again, we've got another envelope, same size on this one. It wouldn't matter what size you use, but this time I'm cutting the flap off. And you could do that anytime, every time. But this time I just went ahead and cut that right on the fold line. And this one, I wanted to dress up the envelope a little bit. The gold one was so pretty on its own, and this is just, again, another way to show another approach. So I cut down a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece of the pattern paper, and I slid it in the envelope like you would a card. And then I just took a pencil and traced that shape onto the pattern paper. So I made sure it was lined up just right so that I had even spacing, and traced that around and then cut out that shape, and that made it fit perfectly on that back side of the envelope. So I'll fast forward through the cutting, and you can see now it fits perfectly, and I'm just going to adhere it to the front, and that's just a great, easy way to add that pattern paper. So now that I have the pocket decorated, then I'm going to flip it back over to what will be the front side of the page, and that solid side of the envelope works just like a plain piece of paper in my album. And so I'm just going to look for how I want to decorate this. And one of the 12 by 12 pieces of paper had all of these cut apart 3 by 3 squares, which were really fun because they kind of stand as their own individual design and embellishment. And I chose to go with this one here that says "Life is beautiful." And so it makes it so easy to just add that detail right onto the front of the envelope. And then just to, again, dress it up a little bit, I went ahead and found in the embellishments some of those coordinating shapes and florals that repeat themselves. And so I covered up some of the printed pieces with florals that kind of matched in shape and size. And so then all it really did was tie it all together. It added a little bit of shine, and it added some dimension by adding some of the florals and the leaves to the pattern paper. So into the pocket, I'm going to add some tags. You can see here there was a gorgeous 12 by 12 sheet of paper that had pre-printed tags on them. Made it so easy. You're going to be able to use the one side as embellished tags, and you can use the back side for photos or stories. There's so many different ways to use these, and I love that it's a two-sided sheet of full tags. So I cut out just a few, and all of them would work. You could add as many as you want into this pocket as well. I go through and add that same ribbon to those tags and staple them on with gold staples. So you have the opportunity here to go as far as you want with these tags. I just added a gold puffy heart sticker to the middle of the camera. I added this cute stamp sticker to one of the open white spaces. Again, that could be used for journaling. That could be a spot for a photo. There are so many different ways to approach these tags. I loved the stripe, and I just wanted to leave that for that its own detail that way. And then on this one here, I added a little gold heart from the die cut pieces. Just play and have fun with all the embellishments that come in this collection. It makes it so easy to pull everything together. So again, I would add photos and some journaling. What I want to do with this album, because it's all about my two daughters, is have them add some of their favorite things about one another and add some of their own stories in their own handwriting. So I'm saving the journaling for them to do. You can see here now that I have the entire album to flip through. So I've showed you 3 different ways to approach making this album, and you can use the same technique over and over. The cover here was one of the scalloped edged envelopes, and so you can see here I decorated the inside of the envelope flap, and then I added the card inside but added photos and embellishments to that. So then here you can see the gold envelope that I already showed earlier. I decorated it with a little die cut on the front. Again, the interactive card that you can pull out and see all of the different photos and the embellishments that add to that to make it so special. And then the next one is an envelope. And so I used the envelope, and it was a larger sized envelope, but I went ahead and added some paper. The collection also has these cute little cut apart sheets that have lists, and so that's going to be perfect. And then I just added some simple prints, photo prints as well. I will mention I printed all my photos as 3x4s, and some of them then I would crop down a little bit, but most of the time they're in the album as 3x4s. So here is that same concept again with the pocket cards. So journaling things that come out of the top and just decorate the envelope. I loved the gold acetate sheet, and so just for fun, I added that on the front and back cover. It also protects the album a little bit, and I added another little page inside just for some extra detail. So there's the other page with the pullouts coming out of the side of the envelope, and then again, the card concept repeated with tags and things coming out of the top. So that's the one I made in the video. Then here is another envelope with the side access to the photos and the tags, just fun ways to decorate it. And my back cover is simply an envelope that I sealed shut and then covered with pattern paper so that it works just like a full page. And this album was so fun to put together. I hope you enjoyed seeing the process, and I hope you'll give it a try. This collection made it perfect, but honestly, any cards or envelopes would work great for pulling this idea together. Thanks so much for joining me today and letting me share this fun project with you.